Thank you everyone for joining to the webinar today. My name is Akib and I work as the Senior Marketing Officer at the College of Science and College of Health and Medicine. I will be your host for today's session, but before we get started, some housekeeping things to note. This webinar today will be recorded and the recording will be made available after the event. You will be able to ask questions or make comments. You have got the question and answer tab at the bottom of the screen. If you do not wish your questions or comments to be in the recording, please contact us at science@anu.edu.eu. I will also leave that in the chat box, the email address, and you can contact us after the event. So today I would like to introduce our panelists, Anna, who studied Masters of Biotechnology, and Yvonne, who studied Masters of Science in Biological Sciences at ANU. Today, they're here to share their experience and insights as a student at ANU and to answer any questions that you may have. So if you've got any questions, feel free to send them through to the question answer tab, and we'll answer those questions at the end of the session. Hi, Anna and Yvonne. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
No worries. Could you tell us about yourself, your background, and how did you choose biology as a discipline? Yvonne, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, I started my bachelor's program in the United States, actually. I was doing general biology, and I wasn't sure at that time which specific field I should choose. So I then transferred to ANU to do my master's. And I finished my master's about 3 or 4 months ago in ecology and evolution. And now I started my PhD at ANU as well. So now I'm doing that.
That's wonderful. So Anna, how about you?
Hello, everyone. I'm Anna. I actually did my undergraduate in China. And then in 2016, I did my master of biotechnology and finished at 2017. And by 2018, I continue to do my PhD in AAU. Now I'm a third-year PhD student. And according to how and why I choose biology, I think what I did is to eliminate anything I'm not really passionate about. And I also eliminate those I'm really passionate, but I really did bad, like writing. I love writing, but I didn't do good on it. So at the end, biology is the one left on the list. So I choose biology. But I find like I study more on biology, I actually love it more because I find it's actually fascinating. Yeah. And now I start become passionate. Yeah.
Oh, good. So Yvonne, as you know, as I was talking before as well, so biology is such a vast field. So what is your area of interest or specialization?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll start with a little bit of background on that. So as I briefly mentioned, when I did my bachelor's degree, I thought that I'm going to pursue biochemistry, which my undergrad university wanted me to sort of focus on. But I then realized that perhaps that's not exactly the field for me. I didn't really enjoy studying that. I didn't really enjoy doing the lab work in that. But instead, I really liked questions about ecology and evolution. So that's what I decided to go with, and that's what my master's program was about. I did a project on handedness, sort of using right hands. Completed my thesis half a year ago or so. And now when I started my PhD, I'm continuing to do behavioral biology, which is cognition and animal behavior, sexual selections, these sort of things. But again, I'm not doing a project that I've done on my master's. I again shifted gears slightly. And right now I'm working on how age and sex and different types of species and population can affect cognition in animals, so thinking abilities, things like that.
Right. So, so there's also, do you find a lot of students in your class or your mates in your masters who have continued to do research in the same field? like who have done a master's project and continued the same project in the PhD?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Most of the people, I think, do that.
Right.
And usually, sometimes people will change the project slightly, right? So they stay in the same field. Say, if it's ecology, they may just do a project on different animals or different, uh, in a slightly different field, right? So it's
Mhm.
really up to a student to decide whether they want to pursue exactly the same goal or they may want to change something dramatically. And ANU, I think, really allows people to do that, which is great.
Right. Right. So, Anna, how about you? So you've done a master's in biotechnology,
Yeah.
and then you got into doing research. So what's your area of interest?
Actually, I made a quite big jump. So my master degree is about technology, but when I do my PhD, it's about immunogenomics, which is a combination of immunology and genomics. So like what I want to really share here is don't be afraid of changing your field.
Mm.
Before I do my PhD, I have no idea about immunology. Like my knowledge was stay in the level of high school.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely not going to be enough. But and I choose immunology because I heard one professor from like this school I was in, which is John Curtin School of Medical Research. I
Mm.
heard one of his lecture, only one, and I was fascinated by him because he's so passionate about immunology, and it makes me feel it's interesting.
Right.
So I just contact him, and he said, "Oh, like yeah, there is a chance you can come and I can do an interview for you, and then we can decide whether we continue, like you can come to my lab or not." So
Mhm.
like it just happened. So what I want to say is it don't be afraid of changing. Yeah. And
Right.
yeah, and you definitely can do a lot of things in AU. So you can do like in RSB, research school of biology, you can do evolution, plant, and all sorts of things. And in John Curtin School, you can do cancer,
Mm.
neuroscience, immunology, genomics. Yeah, like there are a lot of options.
Yeah.
So even when you are doing your master's,
Mhm.
you actually can enroll in small projects. It's only take one semester.
Right.
You can just simply contact the supervisor. Most of them are very nice.
Mm.
And sometimes if they don't reply you, it's actually because they are really busy. Just don't be afraid to contact them one more time. They
Yeah.
probably will see the email. Yeah. And because my supervisor had 200 emails sit in his email list, so sometimes they do miss one or two. So yeah, and they are
Yeah.
very easy to access. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really good to know. I think that is very, very valuable to everyone who's joined us today. And the other question I had was about the masters which you studied, the Masters of Biotechnology. So when you studied your masters, what kind of subjects did you choose? Did you do a breadth of the subjects or a range of subjects, or did you focus on one particular discipline, like the say food security, or was it cell or molecular biology? So how did
Um,
you do your subjects?
Actually, so when I do my master's, for each semester we need to complete 24 credits.
Yeah.
Most of the course is like 6 credits.
Hmm.
I instead of really focus on something like on one area, I actually had a quite broad how to say courses. So
Yeah.
I choose genetics, microbiology, and I try like different courses because at that time, even though I know I quite like biology, but I still have no idea like which exactly area I'm interested in
Hmm.
because, as I said, there are so many areas. So I choose different areas for the first semester, and then like on the second semester, I kind of narrow it down. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I have a brave idea. Oh, I actually interested in those areas. So then
Mhm.
I focus. Yeah.
Right. That's good. It's good to know. So you are from, you're not from Australia, so you have been here as an international student, is it?
Yeah.
So you're from China originally?
Yes.
Okay. So what was your reaction when you first moved to Canberra? How did you take it, and how did you get used to the ANU environment here?
So because I come from China, Inner Mongolia,
Right.
and from a very small town. So when
Mm.
I first come to Canberra, I didn't I feel shocked as a lot of my other friends was, because they think, oh, Canberra is capital, it must be big, but it's actually quite small and quiet. But because where I live is quiet as well, so I didn't feel there is a huge difference.
Mhm.
In another way, I find even though it's small, but it has all the facilities and
Yeah.
the things we need. Like apart from AAU, we can also go to ski. Like it's only 3 hours drive, and there are a lot of
Yeah, the beach is about 2 hours away, and
yeah, yes, yes, I've been
there
to
are nice
beaches.
restaurants, there are nice cafes.
True.
And Canberra, do you like coffee much?
Oh, I do love
Oh
coffee.
yeah. So
I
and
bought
Canberra,
my
has one of the best coffees.
yes, and I bought my own coffee machine
Oh wow.
and got different beans from different shops. Try like which one is better, because
Yeah,
most of them are really good. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. The
yeah,
coffee in Canberra is really good, and the food as well. The food is really tasty.
yeah.
So Yvonne, how about you? So you're from Russia.
Yep, that's
So
right.
how was your move initially when you moved here?
Mhm. So my experience was a bit similar. I'm originally from Moscow, which is has a population of probably 10 or 12 million.
Hmm.
And the Canberra is definitely feels quite small, but in a good way, I would say. So it's quite relaxing. It's quite safe. There's a lot of nature around. So as you mentioned, the beach is pretty close. Well, 2 hours drive, right?
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
a lot of, well, for example, I'm more of a rural type guy, I guess. I prefer, bushwalking, just go
Mhm.
hiking, things like that, swimming and so on. There's plenty of opportunities for that in Canberra. Another very good upside of Canberra is there's very little traffic comparing to other big cities like Sydney, or like in Canberra standards, if your trip to work or university is 20 minutes or longer, people already start complaining, because
Yes.
usually it takes like 10 or 15 minutes to get to point A to point B, which
Yeah.
is quite nice. Um, so yeah, a lot of people have very different opinions about Canberra. I really do like it. There are
Hmm.
definitely some very good things about it. Yeah.
Right. Do you feel that this kind of atmosphere has actually helped you focus on your studies?
Probably yes. Yeah, I would say yes. It's since it's mostly quiet and it's relaxing. You can always go for a walk. You can go for a run. You can go hiking,
That's
things like
true.
that. So, and that really helps me at least. Obviously, everyone has different ways to take breaks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it.
Actually, I actually got several offers
Hmm.
from like Australia, and one of my uncles really insists me to come to Canberra, because he's like, you can only focus on your study. You can't do anything else. But I wouldn't say that. Actually, it definitely helped me to focus. But there's a lot of things to do as well. Yeah.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So that was your story. So your uncle suggested that you study here at ANU. So Yvonne, what was your influence? Why did you decide to study at ANU?
Oh, that's a good question. So as I mentioned before, I finished my undergrad in the United States,
Yeah.
and my main reason to come to ANU was probably because I was trying to find a university that focuses a bit more on ecology and evolution in science, because right now fields like biochem, chemistry, medicine,
Hmm.
all that are very, very popular, which makes sense. But I was trying to find something related to animal research, and I found that there's quite a lot of universities in Australia that focus on that. And I applied to a couple of different places in Australia, and I found that there were a couple of different labs in NU that I
Yeah.
was very interested in, and I really wanted to work with them. And turns out that's what I'm doing right now. So it worked out quite well. Yeah. So the main reason for me was the field that I wanted to study.
Right. And when you were doing your master's here, did you get to go on a lot of field trips?
Hannah, what do you? Oh, is that a question for me?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
for me.
did.
Okay. Yes, I actually did. There's a campus called Kiola campus, which is located on the coast, about 2 hours drive, and it is that is probably, to be honest, my favorite thing about ANU in general, because it's a nice, it's a big territory. There are a couple of houses, and what happens is some courses that you take at ANU in biology, they take the whole class there for a week, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes less. And you get to study there in a friendly environment. So you go get, like, depending on the course that you take, you do some measurements in the forest, or you go collect some insects, or just stay and work in the lab on some proteins or whatever. And it's a very nice environment because the relationship that you can build with your professors is very nice. So sort of during the day, you go to the you go to the classrooms, listen to the lectures, but in the evening you can sit around the fire with professors and chat and talk with other people. And yeah, so there's quite a lot of different field trips in there. I think throughout 2 years of masters, I think I've went for 2 of them, or three field trips. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. And it's such a bonding, like you get to bond really well with the professor and with your classmates as well. That's really good. So Anna, once you're in your 4th year of PhD, was it, or your 3rd year?
Yeah, I'm on my 3rd. Actually, I need to explain a little bit more about why I come to ANU, because my uncle's insist is only one, like one slide reason why I come to ANU.
But your reason is actually bigger than that.
Yeah, it's actually bigger than that, because at that time, at least, ANU is a top 1 university in Australia. And at the same time, similar as Ivan, I want to, like, even though I don't know exactly which field to look to get in, but I want to know which uni has the, like, very strong research team. Right. So yeah, I actually had a really brief look. No, I mean really detailed look, not brief look. Yeah, and another thing is I also checked which uni is easy to access, like have a better relationship with the professor. Yeah. And that's all, like I got quite good feedback from AU. That's why I'm like, okay, this uni is maybe better for me, because as an international student, I have, like, English is my 2nd language. I think I need more care than domestic students like should have. So that's why I think it's better for me to come to AU. So, and the truth is, I do get a lot of care from my course conveners, program conveners. Yeah, I still have a really good relationship with my program convener, Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony Miller.
Anthony Miller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony Miller. Yeah. Yeah.
He's the best, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, I really like him. Yeah. Sorry, what's your question? Sorry.
So I was about to ask. So once you've completed your, your PhD fully, which should maybe in about a year, do you think?
Oh, that's a very tricky question to ask a PhD student, because we are not really sure when exactly we can finish. Hopefully, like if everything goes smoothly, hopefully I can finish by within 1 year, or maybe 2. I don't know.
No, you do it within 1. So what is your plan after you finish your PhD? What do you want to do?
Actually, at this stage, I'm still quite like research. Yeah. So I probably want to do a postdoc after my PhD. My supervisor will be very happy to hear that, because he hasn't destroyed me. Yeah. But although I want to do my postdoc, but I actually am open for all the options. Right. Yeah, because one really Like the thing is, Australia is a little bit hard to find a postdoc position.
Mm-hmm.
So if I couldn't, I probably will do something else, because I
Right.
have friends in industry, and
Mm-hmm.
I also have friends in Australian patent.
Right.
So yeah, like, but I hope I still can do my postdoc. Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So, Yvonne, how about you? What's your plan after you've completed your PhD?
Oh, it's I think this question is even harder because I just started my PhD.
Oh, you have.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have about 3.5 years, maybe four.
Right.
Well, as you said, right? You never know how long it's going to take.
Mm,
Um, as of right now, since I just started, I still enjoy research and I still enjoy being in academia. It's a nice
Mm-hmm.
environment.
Yeah.
So
mm,
maybe I'll as well try to stay in academia and maybe do postdoc.
Mm-hmm.
But another option for me, I also really like teaching. I do a bit of
mm.
part-time teaching.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's going to be relevant within a university as a lecturer or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe even outside as a university. So it's hard to tell.
Right.
So, but these are two main options for me, probably either teaching or continuing staying in academia and doing postdoc and doing more research.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't like industry at all?
Well, since I'm doing in my field, ecology and evolution, there is not a lot of practical applications to these skills,
True.
right? We don't
Yeah.
really produce anything; we just study things, and therefore there's not a lot of options. Well, there are some. I know some people that actually did get a job in like certain companies related to, especially mostly in plant science. There's a lot of practical application to that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I want to go to industry specifically.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. So, Anna, if you think about the industry, what kind of industries would you be looking at?
I like I I prefer pharmaceutical companies,
Hmm.
because that's actually what I'm also interested, and it's also related to my research.
Right.
And apart from that, um,
Are there
I
are your
haven't.
friends? Are
Yeah.
your friends? You said that you have a couple of friends working in the industry. So,
Mm.
are there a lot of industries here in Australia?
It's actually not too bad. Yeah, like of course it's not as many. It's not like as many as in US, but it's quite a lot. And they
Yeah.
all have like the big pharmaceutical companies all have branches in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and all the big tech
Yeah.
companies as well. So like I always Google online, see what happened and all that. So, and that's what I found. It's actually a lot of options if I want to go to another path. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's good to know. So
Yeah.
when you made an application to ANU, how easy or hard was it when you were how did you decide that you wanted to apply to ANU?
Mm.
Was it really hard to make an application? Was it easy? Did you apply it for yourself?
That's a good question. Actually, I applied through my agent.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
That makes it easier.
yeah, but for my PhD, apparently I applied by
Mhm.
myself.
Right.
So I'm not sure about the master part, but I think it should be similar. I mean, yeah, at least my PhD is quite easy. You just, I mean, to apply it is,
To
but
apply
put the
it.
information, to put in the information is easy. To get it is not that easy.
Seems like easy. You made it through.
I think I got a lot of help from my supervisor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So as a master's student or a PhD student in biology, what kind of facilities or what kind of labs do you guys have here here at ANU?
You understand?
Yeah, sure. In terms of facilities, so our lab uses quite a lot of animals. So in RSB, Research School of Biology, we have quite a lot of facilities to hold. There's a lot of there's an entire set of rooms specifically for aquariums, right? So there's a lot of fishes that people use for experiments. There are some facilities for like frogs, different insects. And obviously all of that is associated with different labs that work on them and so on. I know there are facility for mammal. I think we have koala, even koala labs in ANU, some people who study them. So that's awesome. What else? So do you specifically mean facilities related to lab research, or because there's a lot of sort of services outside lab that help you for example, in writing. That's something that I use quite a lot. When I was doing my master's program, I would use quite a lot of tutoring help there. So there's a free service at ANU where you can go and you can ask people that to review your writing. I used to use
Academic
that.
Skill Center.
Yeah, academic skill center. That's right. Yes. So they can help you for free. They just review your essays, review your homework, and give you feedback on that. So I used to use that quite a lot as an international student. That was quite helpful. And even right now as a PhD student, there's a service called Shut Up and Write. I don't know if you heard about that.
Of course.
Yes. So the idea is if you really need to focus, what you do is you go sit in a room with a bunch of people, and they get you like free tea and snacks, and you just sit there quietly for 3 hours with them and write and work on your own project. They don't force you to do anything, but because you are locked up in the room with them, you feel obligated to work. You cannot just fool around, because you look around yourself and everyone is doing work, so you feel like you have to work as well. That is extremely effective, and that's how I wrote my thesis.
Strongly agree. Yeah. I've attended several sessions on shut up and write. Yeah, it's very useful.
Sorry, I don't know if my answer was relevant.
Yeah, that was
okay.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
that was perfect. So Anna, how about you? Did you have a different labs that you used as part of your master's and your PhD program?
Yeah, actually, during my master's, I was working in a parasite lab, and then during my PhD, I definitely changed the lab. So for masters, like if you want to do small projects, like it's okay to contact any professors to anything you're interested in. So if he or she can take you, then that's it. You can do a small project with them, and it's actually quite a large variety of different labs.
And I have heard different labs, especially with Research School of Biology. They have virology labs, cancer and immunology labs, and things like that. So that's a lot of support services and facilities that are offered for the students.
Yeah, and actually, apart from the facilities, because for the first year of masters, most of us did coursework.
Yeah.
And when we are doing coursework, we have demonstrators, tutors, and course conveners. I have a experience. I remember on one of my report, I did really bad. I only got 50, I just passed. So I have no idea what happened. I know it's bad, but I don't know how to improve. So I simply just emailed the professor. I'm like, look, I really want to improve. Can I help? But can you help me? And so we make an appointment, and I went there. So the professor taught me, oh, you can do this. And she also explained why I got low marks. So it's really helped me, because I have no idea why. I know it's bad, but not sure the reason. But now I know the reason. So next time I can improve.
Improve on that.
Yeah, so the professors are really easy to communicate. And another course I got the mark, and I'm not happy with it. So I emailed the professor. I'm like, look, I think this question I should get 1 more mark. What do you think? And so I still remember that's Alexander Miller. So he said, oh, actually, you are right. You should get this 1 mark. So he gave it to me. So I think sometimes you just don't be afraid. If you think you are right,
Yeah.
you communicate. You will have like if you are not right, they will tell you why. If you are right, you gain 1 mark, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's certainly a lot of difference in the teaching method and the teaching style, and also the way, the interaction what the professor and the student has here in Australia. Because I'm originally from India, and when I did my undergrad there, I was not allowed to ask questions. So questions were forbidden, so you can't have an argument with the professors. But here things are so different, and it's good to know. It also helps the students a lot to learn and flourish in their own fields. So,
And
yeah,
yeah,
sorry,
sorry.
Anna.
No, another thing I want to remind international student is you definitely need quite a bit of time to adapt the new area.
Hmm.
So just like at least mentally prepare for it. Because
Yeah,
when I first came, I got a like shock. I was like, "What's going on here? I have no idea what I'm doing." Like, and for each classes, because um, it's English and not my mother tongue. So I was like, am I really understanding
yeah.
this? So yeah, just be prepared.
I think it takes a while, but then you just get used to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm. So, how are you currently balancing your work, study, and your research? Is it fairly easy to balance, or do you think it's quite hard?
Okay,
You want
I'll
you
go
want to go
first.
ahead?
Sure. Um, I found it possible, to be honest, when I was doing my master's.
Hmm.
I think first semester and part of the second semester, I decided to play it safe, and I was only just focusing on studying. But then, as I realized, okay, that I actually can get a little bit of work done as well, so I started working part-time somewhere slower, and
Yeah.
I had enough time for myself as well. I have like a couple of different hobbies, and I found it was possible to balance all these different things.
Hmm.
Again, like I can personally compare this experience that I had in Australia to my experience in the United States. In
Hmm.
the United States, they're definitely a bit more harsh and a bit more strict with you when it comes to studying.
Yeah.
Obviously, here it's strict as well. Obviously, you do have to study, you do have to, prepare and everything else. Um, but I don't think I was overwhelmed when I was doing masters. Of course, there are specific time periods during exams or when you have to write a certain report. Well, yeah, sometimes you gotta put some extra effort into that. But yeah, I've been working part time since then, and I'm still working part time while I'm doing PhD as well. And I feel like I can balance these different things.
Manage both
Yeah,
of them.
that's right. It
Right.
also depends a little bit on if you're doing research. I think it depends a little bit on your supervisor who you're working with, because you got to make sure you communicate with people in advance, and there is understanding from both parties, right? They know that you have other commitments, and they may be okay with that. Maybe they'll ask you to work Monday to Friday, then you can have Saturday, Sunday working part time, and so
Mhm.
on. So pretty much, as long as you establish clear communication with your supervisors, that shouldn't be a problem at all.
Right. Finally, I think with given the current situation, in Australia and around the world about the COVID-19, has anything changed for you as a student, and how are you dealing with this sort of a change?
Like for me, it definitely affected me because I was working with mice most of the time. So I
Yeah.
need to do experiments in the lab, definitely. But because of the lockdown, there is no one allowed to be in the lab or in any facilities at AU. So at the beginning, I think it's quite a shock for me because I was like, what should I do? Because I'm on my third year, I have very limited time. But at the same time, because my supervisor, he's very caring, so he said, okay, um, except experiment, of course, you need to read a lot of things. So during these 3 months, I complete 2 grants. I read my annual report. So what else? And yeah, he asked me to write my thesis, which I haven't. Yeah, well,
So honest.
yeah, but I think this 3 months, although I can't do experiment, but I still can do research, because research is not only about experiment, it's also about reading and like, like learn what others is doing. Although I wasn't doing any online course, but I do have friends who's in undergraduate. He's attending course online in he's in Australia, but he also attend course online, and it doesn't really affect him much. So in terms of the learning.
Yeah. So the classes are still, the classes are still going on. They're just online classes, but the students are still able to do the assignments, the submissions, the group work by connecting digitally. I think that's how we are progressing with this given situation. But hopefully, with everything going on and the way we have battled this situation, we should be able to get back up and running very soon, very shortly. Hopefully, by next semester, everything should be good. I feel. But in terms of your labs, I think maybe in about 2 or 3 months, you should be able to get access to your labs and things like that.
Oh, actually, we are already.
Oh, you're already
getting back.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's positive.
Yeah,
That's really positive.
Yeah, but in a way, like when you stay at home for so long, and you suddenly they tell you, "Oh, you can go back to work." I'm like, really? I don't know.
I don't want to.
I'm not ready. Yeah, but yeah, you're used to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the end of the session. But we will wait for some questions from the students, and then we can end the session. So all the viewers, feel free to drop your questions in the question and answer tab at the bottom of your screen. We are happy to answer any questions that you have. And we have a question actually. So there is a question from one of the students, Anna, anyone, you both can choose to answer this. So they're asking if PhD slots, like PhD positions in ANU, are they funded or not? Do you receive funding? Is it sponsored?
Yes. My PhD is funded by my school, so I'm not sure about Ivan. Right. But there, what I know is ANU definitely can fund some if you apply. And if I remember correctly, ISB will have one for an international student per year. Right. And John could have a couple, like 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure. Yeah.
So there are definitely different types of scholarships that you can apply for. There are some scholarships that might come from companies abroad. There are some scholarships provided by, I think, ANU in general. And as Anna mentioned, there are some scholarships that are specific to each school, which is, for example, what I have. I have a scholarship from my research school of biology, specifically for international students. There's a lot more options from what I know for domestic students. International students' positions are a bit competitive, but it's obviously possible to get in there. Yeah, I don't know.
And,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, and I feel like if you did your master here in at ANU, you actually have an advantage because the professor know you better, like, and they will consider you than someone like they don't know apparently, right? That's my experience. So.
That's a fair point. Like that's what I mentioned initially as well. It's about building those connections. For example, when Yvonne went on the field trip, bonding with the professors, bonding with the fellow classmates, and that happens with the labs. That happens when you do assignments. That happens when you attend the class. And it's a 2-year worth of study, right? So the master's is worth 2 years. So you you tend to build those connections, which will help in the future in terms of, say, employment, or in terms of getting doing PhD in the future. So all the connections do really help. Anna, so there is another question. So I think in one of the conversations you mentioned that while you do the labs in your first years of masters, you've got demonstrators. So the students asking, so what's a demonstrator?
Oh, so a demonstrator is the person, if you like, so in a course, if you need to do some experiment in a lab, so there will be some demonstrator to help you to explain what the experiment is about. And if you have any questions, you can ask them. And so I used to be a demonstrator in some courses. So in those courses, I also need to mark students' reports.
Right.
So it's basically teach them and also just demonstrate them to learn how to use get the techniques or like those sort of things, and mark their reports. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I have one story about demonstrating. So before I came to Australia, one of my like the person I know told me, you know, if you go to Australia and the demonstrator will mark your reports down because you're an international student, you're not domestic. And I was like, is this true?
Okay.
And then I found it's not true, because when I was doing when I was a demonstrator, I have no time to check who's this person.
Yeah.
Like, because it's the only thing showed up is your uni ID. So I have no time to check, is this the international student or this is a domestic student? And I definitely marked some domestic student whose report is really not really good. And I also see some international students have very good reports.
Yeah.
So don't listen to others. Like most of the time, don't listen, because they are not true. Yeah.
Right. So we have another question. So you mentioned about doing part-time work while you were studying. So the viewers want to know what exactly did you do, or where did you do, what different kinds of works did you do? I think this is just to understand what is the possibility of doing the part-time job.
Actually, since we just talked about demonstrating, if you are doing a PhD, demonstrating is your number one option. Yes. That's what, Anna, are you demonstrating right now, or you used to demonstrate, right?
I supposed to demonstrating, but because of the lockdown.
Oh, okay, right. Well, I was actually, I'm demonstrating right now. I was even demonstrating during the lockdown. I was, as Anna mentioned, demonstrating is pretty much helping a professor. So whatever, if they don't have time for something that you can do, that's what you do. For example, you can help students during the lab. You can. There was a time when I demonstrated in a field course, which was quite fun. So I actually go with a class for a week, and I help them prepare equipment, set up the lab, and so on. So demonstrating is number one option. I also tutored outside ANU. So tutoring is quite popular in Canberra, I think. There's quite a lot of schools, and obviously some students need extra help. So you can find a tutoring agency, you can work there. And there are obviously all the other options. Like, well, actually the first, the very beginning when I was just at ANU, I actually worked as a security/janitor, sort of both, for a little while. And while that was not the best job for me at the time, that's something that worked out for me. That's decent money, so I didn't mind it. But it depends what sort of skills you have. If you can obviously go for jobs like in the shops or at the bar or anywhere else. I have some friends who work in museums, like in science museums. That's a very good job and pays quite well. These sorts of options. So you just got to keep in mind that it's probably going to be, most likely going to be a part-time job, right? Because they need to actually spend some time studying.
And I also did invigilating, like you just check, you just walk in the exam, like when other people was doing exam, you just go and check whether they are doing something.
And make sure that they're not
hand out, sorry?
And make sure that they're not copying.
And just hand out things. But I'm not sure like whether that will be suitable for master student, because they need to take exams. but yeah, but I just
But that's
remember
one of
that.
the options. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Mm.
Right. I think we're at the end of the session now. So thank you. Thank you, Anna and Yvonne. I think your time here has been super, super helpful for all the viewers. And for everyone watching the webinar, if you have got any questions or if you want to connect with any one of us, feel free to email us. The email address is science@anu.edu.au. I'm just sending that on the chat to everyone. And also about the recording. So if you have any comments or if you don't want to be included, just let us know. And that's okay. That's the email address. So thank you for joining, and thanks once again, Anna and Yvonne. You both
Thank
have a good
you.
night. All right.
you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yep.
Have a good night.
You too. See you. Bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.